Hey guys, Tyler here from GarageWarrior.com, where I show you how to get stronger, live longer, look good naked, and live the life of your dreams. So I want to show you guys something awesome today. I want to show you guys the foundational principles of good nutrition that are not only going to help you burn fat, look better naked, but are going to increase your performance. And that's the thing I want to kind of start with, is that most people think of nutrition, they think of fat loss, fat loss, fat loss, and we don't realize that you actually can increase your performance through increasing your nutrition, so your overall health, right? And ultimately, if your goal is to lose fat, you're not going to do it without improving your health. So it all kind of starts on this foundation of realizing that there are some fundamental principles that will get you great results for performance, for health, for strength, for fat loss, all at the same time. Okay, so I want to share with you the number one thing you need to be focusing on in order to really get great results this year, while benefiting your nutrition, your health, and your performance, okay? So I want to talk about that number one principle right now. And it's really, really, really simple. It's to do this. And a friend of mine started this phrase, and so Sean Croxton, I'm going to give him credit for this. It's called just, right, eat real food. Okay? That is the number one principle you need to understand if you're going to get great results with your nutrition. And when I say real food, that's kind of a question for a lot of people, because some people say, well, you know, I shop at Trader Joe's, so everything from there is real food. That's not exactly the case. When we're talking about real food, I want you to think about what it is that you're eating and how it was made, how it was prepared, how it was processed. So if you pick up a piece of kale and you look at it, it's quite obvious that that piece of kale falls into the real foods category. However, there's some controversy when people talk about something like oats, right? And while oats can be appropriate for some people, if you really want to optimize your nutrition, it's still a food that has been processed, okay? So you can even go back to like oat groats, it's still a food that had to be processed. You couldn't just pick it out of the ground with your bare hands, okay? So think about it more like that when you're thinking about that word real food. So what does real food mean? It's really simple. You got vegetables, right? And every single nutrition program out there tells you to eat more vegetables. I'm going to follow suit. Most people need to consume more vegetables in their diet, especially if they're still having hunger cravings when they are eating a real food diet, because vegetables can fill you up so much. So all the veggies go, as many veggies as you possibly get your hands on, unless you have some sort of gut disorders, and we can talk about that another time. Quality meats. Now, meat is such a huge controversy for so many people, and the reason why I have such a two-sided perspective on meat is because I spent 3 years as a vegetarian and several months out of that 3 years as a complete vegan. I did okay on that kind of diet, but my wife actually got really, really sick. She ended up in Stanford in the hospital, and she was one step away from the doctors, you know, talking about colostomy bags, talking about her having celiac disease and things like that. And so the vegetarian vegan approach doesn't work for everyone. So with meats, the real quandary with most people comes from the fact that they're thinking of conventional produce or conventional meats that are conventionally fed, right? And so when you have a cow that eats shit and then you eat the cow, well, guess what? You're still eating shit, right? But if that cow ate healthy grass on a healthy pasture, right, and it was humanely raised, and then you eat it, now we're talking about something that becomes healthy. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of studies done on grass-fed and pastured meats, which is why you see things like, Forks Over Knives and all these documentaries about vegans being the healthiest way to live. Well, I don't necessarily agree that it's because of the lack of meat. It's mostly because of the increase in vegetables and the lack of processed foods in those vegan and vegetarian diet programs. So high-quality meats, like good low glycemic index fruits, nuts and seeds. Some people can tolerate legumes, some people can't. Sweet potatoes, things like that. Anything that you can pull from the earth, that you can get from the land, is a real food. And all you have to do is literally start with this one principle. If you go down and sit at your meals and say, is this a real foods meal? And it falls under those principles we've just talked about, then you're probably on good track to improving your nutrition and improving your overall health. Now I'm going to shoot out a couple more videos talking about the macronutrient ratios that I use with people for optimizing their fat loss hormones and their performance in a second. But for the first thing you need to do is you need to think about just eating real food. So go into your cabinets, get rid of all that shit in your cabinets, make sure you have lots of fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, high quality meats, eggs, high quality butters, things like that, and make sure it's a real food. Start there because that is the foundation of a good diet.